Hi everyone, welcome back to Feeding Ravendoodles, a pet parent's guide to nutrition. Today's topic is homemade diets. Now, some pet parents might ask themselves, I cook for my family, so why shouldn't I cook for my pet? It's no secret that taking the time to prepare food for our friends and family and loved ones is considered a loving gesture, and some pet parents just want to extend that gesture to their pets. But many pet parents are unaware of the risks that come along with feeding homemade diets. So that's why I'm here to talk to you today about the risks and benefits of homemade diets. Homemade diets can work wonderfully if they're formulated right, but they can be detrimental to your pet's health if they're not. It's absolutely impossible to get a homemade diet complete and balanced unless you're working with a board-certified veterinary nutritionist. Unbalanced diets can lead to life-threatening deficiencies or nutritional excesses for your pet. Online recipes or cookbooks, even when they're written by veterinarians, are not complete and balanced. Multiple scientific research studies have shown us this. Board-certified veterinary nutritionists, on the other hand, have trained for many years learning about animal digestive physiology, pet nutrient requirements, and how to formulate diets for our dogs and cats. So they are the ones that we should be putting our trust in when we're creating homemade diets. Cooking foods for our pets is not like cooking for our families. Human foods are fortified with extra nutrients that we need in our diets, but they might be different levels that are needed for our dogs and cats. Nutrition facts and recommended daily values for humans are also very different than they are for dogs and cats. So again, human food and pet food are pretty different. So bridging the gap between these two things is where the board-certified veterinary nutritionist comes in. Preparing food at home can get time-consuming, so especially when you're consulting with a board-certified veterinary nutritionist and you're following their recipe that they've given you. Cooking 2 extra meals per day for your dog or cat that is completely separate from your own food and that is cooked completely differently than your food can take a lot of time and effort. It can also get really expensive, so dietary consultations with a board-certified veterinary nutritionist, as well as extra vet visits to make sure that your pet is staying healthy on their homemade diet, can add up. And the board-certified veterinary nutritionist will recommend that you buy dietary supplements and some different ingredients than you might usually buy to feed your family. So these costs can add up as well. There are also certain pets who should not eat homemade diets. One category being puppies and kittens, and another being pregnant or lactating mothers. These types of animals, these categories of animals, have very, very specific nutrient requirements that are very hard to meet when you're feeding a homemade diet. So it's best to feed a commercially prepared, complete and balanced diet to our puppies and kittens and our pregnant and lactating mothers. Obese pets trying to lose weight should also not be fed a homemade diet because they need low calories, but they still need all their nutrient requirements met. So they should be eating a therapeutic diet that is formulated for weight loss. There are many, many places that pet parents go wrong when they're feeding homemade diets. The first being not feeding a completely nutritionally balanced diet that is formulated by a board-certified veterinary nutritionist. So like I said before, board-certified nutritionists have a unique knowledge of our pets and their nutritional needs that is sufficient enough for them to formulate a home-cooked recipe for us. So that's number one. Number 2 is feeding diets that might have raw or undercooked meat products, and this can be dangerous for you, your family, and your pet because you'd be at risk of contracting bacteria and other pathogens that might be present on that meat. I'll have a completely different discussion for you with a future video called Raw Diets, so keep on the lookout for that. A third way that pet parents might go wrong is feeding a diet that is only muscle meat. So like chicken breast or pork chops or steak. So that might be fine for us because we eat a lot of other things in our diets. But our dogs and cats, if they're only eating muscle meat, this can lead to very severe nutritional imbalances and can lead to metabolic bone disease, among many other things. So their diets need organ meats as well as other things that are going to round out that diet. And going along with this, some pet parents are going to feed diets that lack variety. So only 1 or 2 or 3 ingredients. 2 or 3 ingredients does not a complete and balanced diet make. So a board-certified veterinary nutritionist would tell you that you need at least 5 ingredients plus a mineral and vitamin supplement to balance out your pet's homemade diet. Another way that pet parents go wrong feeding homemade is cooking for their pet as if they're cooking for another human. So adding a bunch of salt, seasonings, or a bunch of butter to the diet. So butter and salt and seasonings can all lead to digestive upset for our pets, and certain seasonings like onion and garlic can even be life-threatening if they're fed to our pets. So you're definitely not going to want to add any of these types of things to your pet's diet. Some pet parents, another way that they go wrong is feeding a tiny bit of kibble and then a bunch of food toppers or a bunch of, let's say, meat or pumpkin or vegetables to their pet's food. And this is just as bad as feeding a completely homemade diet that's unbalanced. I'm also going to have a future video called Treats, Table Scraps, and Food Toppers, so check out that in a couple of weeks. Another way some pet parents go wrong is simply adding a vitamin or mineral supplement to an unbalanced diet. And this is just not acceptable either. It doesn't bring that diet into balance. You'd have to work with a board-certified veterinary nutritionist and use specific vitamins and mineral supplements. Some pet parents feed only table scraps to their dogs, or they might feed their cats only canned tuna. These, again, can be very dangerous because they can create life-threatening nutrient imbalances. Your pet can be in a calorie deficit. They're not getting enough calories. Your pet can develop metabolic diseases or even just digestive upset as well. So you're definitely going to want to feed a complete and balanced diet that is formulated for a dog or a cat specifically. The dangers of homemade diets that I've been pointing out along the way are not always apparent. They're not always super obvious. It might take weeks or months or even years for symptoms of an unbalanced diet to actually manifest and to become obvious to you as a pet owner. So, rule of thumb is don't feed a homemade diet unless you're consulting with a board-certified veterinary nutritionist who can make sure that your pet is getting exactly what they need. All commercial pet foods in the United States are subject to regulation by the U.S. Food and Drug Administration, or the FDA, and they have to follow the guidelines that are set out by the Association of American Feed Control Officials, also known as AAFCO. So AAFCO sets standards for labeling, defines ingredients, and organizes cooperation between pet food companies and regulatory bodies. The FDA is going to regulate pet food companies, enforce these standards that are set out by AAFCO, and ensure compliance by pet food companies. And then state governments are going to work with AAFCO and the FDA to make sure that the food being sold within the state is complying with all of these rules. Now, certain commercial pet food companies are better than others, and some pet food companies are reliable, trustworthy, and honest, and based in science. If you want to find out if a pet food company is reliable and based in science, you can learn step by step on how to pick a pet food part 1. Some pet parents might be wary of commercial pet foods because of ingredients. But ingredients are not equal to nutrients, and ingredients do not tell us if a food is good or bad. And if you want to learn more about ingredients, check out How to Read a Pet Food Label. And if you want to learn more about nutrients, check out Nutrient Requirements. Now, some pets need a specific diet to treat a disease that they might have. So there are what's called therapeutic diets, which are commercial diets that are designed to treat or prevent specific diseases that are commonly seen in dogs and cats. For example, kidney disease is very commonly seen in cats. So a commercial therapeutic kidney disease diet would be used to manage kidney disease in cats. Therapeutic diets are formulated by reliable, science-based pet food companies, and they are regulated by the Food and Drug Administration. I will have a future topic called therapeutic diets, so keep on the lookout for that video as well. There are a few instances when pet parents might really want to turn to homemade. So one of those instances being if you have a really picky pet who refuses to eat anything that comes out of a bag or a can. They only want to eat people food. In this case, you might be wondering if a homemade diet would be best for your pet. Some pets also might have complicated diseases going on or have a mixture of different diseases that are not really best nutritionally managed with a regular commercial complete and balanced diet. Sometimes diseases have to be managed nutritionally, and in this case, it might be best to talk to your veterinarian about referring you to a board-certified veterinary nutritionist who can help you out formulating a homemade diet. In other cases, some pet parents just really want to go that extra mile and cook for their pet every single day, and hats off to you if you have the time and money to do this. But again, make sure you're always working with a board-certified veterinary nutritionist if you choose to go that route. If you still want to feed homemade after all of the precautions that I have given you in this video, definitely talk to a board-certified veterinary nutritionist. You can find them on acvn.org, at a vet school near you, or through a private consulting service. You can also get referred to a board-certified veterinary nutritionist through your pet's usual veterinarian. If your pet is healthy and you want to buy recipes and supplements online, go to balanceit.com. This website is run and organized by a board-certified veterinary nutritionist who has formulated all the recipes and who sells the supplements that are going to help your diet become complete and balanced. So definitely check that out if your pet is healthy and you want to go the homemade route. If your pet is eating a homemade diet, make sure that they visit their usual veterinarian more than one time each year. Their usual veterinarian will make sure that they are maintaining a healthy body condition score, maintaining a steady weight, and that they're still in a good health condition while they're eating this homemade diet. So the veterinarian is going to make sure that they're staying healthy throughout this process. And the usual veterinarian can also consult with a board-certified veterinary nutritionist on your behalf as you go through this journey. If you are feeding a recipe that's formulated by a board-certified veterinary nutritionist or balanceit.com, you're going to want to make sure you follow that diet to the T. Deviations from the recipe, from ingredients or measurements, can lead to life-threatening nutritional imbalances for your pet. And like I said before, they might not show up right away. So make sure you're following that recipe as best as you can. And if you have any questions, contact the board-certified veterinary nutritionist. Thank you so much for watching this Popular Topics video on homemade diets. I hope I answered all of your questions that you might have. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with your friends. And if you do have any additional questions, leave them down in the comments section below. Also check out that video's description below where I give you a ton of different resources on homemade diets, as well as some primary literature and extra reading materials for you. Don't forget to check out feedingravendoodles.com, which is my website that has all of my articles and videos in one place for you. Next time, we are going to be talking about raw diets. Say bye, Raven.